Salut classe, on commence aujourd'hui avec le passé composé. We are going to continue our wonderful journey with the passé composé. However, we have a little twist to add to it. So let's dive in. Alright, the passé composé. Classe, combien de parties est-ce qu'il y a au passé composé? I hope you said deux. Alright, we still have two parts in our passé composé. This is never going to change. The first part is our helping verb, and the second part is our past participle. We have been working with verbs where the helping verb in the past tense is avoir. However, some verbs, instead of using avoir, are going to use être. I know. Did your head just fall off your body? It's insane, it's wild, it's crazy, but it's doable, so take a deep breath. We will be just fine. What we got to remember is, first of all, there are 17, 18 verbs that use être. That's it. If you think about how many verbs you have learned, believe me, it's a ton, and so it's really not a ton of verbs that are going to fall into this category. The other thing is we can think about these are the kind of verbs that are going to express movement or motion. So we can kind of chunk them all together, and if we can get that concept in mind, that'll help us remember which verbs are the verbs that are going to need être. So, we have a beautiful acronym to help us remember these verbs. Alright, the acronym is Dr. and Mrs. P. Vandertramp. Okay, it's used by a bunch of French teachers everywhere. Okay, I didn't make this up. This is how I learned my passé composé with être. So, we're going to go through each of the verbs. I'm going to tell you what they mean because some of these verbs we've actually never seen before. Starting with devenir, we have seen devenir, which I'm sure you remember, means to become. Next verb is revenir. Venir means to come, so the re in it means back. So revenir is to come back. Monter, to climb. It kind of looks like mount or mountain. Monter is to climb, to go up. Or if you're going to get in a car, we would use monter in that situation. Rester, false. Cognate, guys, check it out. Rester means to stay. Sortir, we know, to go out. Partir, we also know, to leave. Venir, we know, means to come. Arriver, to arrive. Naître, how crazy looking is that verb? Naître means to be born. Yes, like your birth. Like, welcome to the world, you're born. Naître. Descendre is our next verb. Descendre, we have seen, means to go down, or it's the opposite of monter. So if monter could mean to get in a vehicle like a car, descendre could also be to get out of the car, so to get down from. E is for entrer, to enter. Rentrer, to re-enter. Tomber, to fall. Retourner, to return. So do you notice this pattern of going and coming and returning and coming back? We have some synonyms here with revenir and retourner and rentrer. Aller is our most common verb that we're going to need to use être with in the passé composé. Mourir, opposite of naître. Mourir is to die. And passé. Passé you want to put a little asterisk next to because passé sometimes uses être, sometimes it doesn't. It kind of depends on the context. Alright, now the other thing we got to keep in mind is when we're making past participles of these verbs, some of them are not going to follow our pattern. And here's the first one, venir. Alright, venir, the irregular past participle is venu, which means that any verb has the base of venir. For example, revenir is going to do the same thing. So you guys see how up in here we've got venir. Venir is still here. We put the re in front of it. So my irregular past participle venu. Here it's revenu. Alright, now devenir once again comes from venir. So devenu is my irregular past participle. Naître is kind of crazy looking, remember? And that past participle is né. Don't forget your accent aigu. And mourir, the past participle, is mort, which if you think about mourir meaning to die, mort makes a lot of sense. What does it mean to be immortal? When you're mortal, you die. If you are a mortician or if you work in a mortuary, you're always dealing with dead bodies. Even the name of the character in the Addams Family, Morticia, they're all obsessed with death and gloomy stuff. So that's what mort kind of looks like, mortal, and that can help us remember mourir, to die. So, in case you need a little reminder about être, we've got je suis, tu es, il est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont. So that's our verb être. So the first step you're going to do, your helping verb for these 17, 18 verbs is être. All right, so once again, there's still two parts. We still start with être, and then we add our past participle. Now for our regular past participles, we still follow the same thing, where the ER changes to I, the IR changes to I, but you got to look out for venir, of course, is irregular. And remember, RE changes to you. So if I wanted to say I went, now we got to be careful. Remember, went comes from aller, because aller means to go. Go is irregular in English too. The past is went. So je suis allé is I went. All right, you with me so far? If not, pause, take a break, throw up, come back. You're going to be just fine. But there is one more step. And here's the extra little step that's going to drive you crazy, but it's awesome, don't worry. If your helping verb is être, we have to make our past participle agree with the subject. This is wild, right? You're like, first, what does it mean to agree? What are we going to do? Shake hands? No, remember when our adjectives agreed with our nouns? Like, if I had a feminine, if I was talking about a girl and she was tall, I had to add an E, right? Or if I had a whole bunch of boys and they were talkative, I had to add an S, all right? So, same thing, check it out. So if my subject is feminine, you add an E. My subject is plural, you add an S. So she went, I have my subject, here's my helping verb être, and then here's my past participle. Because she is feminine, I have to add this extra E. Here's a plural example, they left. Il is the subject, sont is my helping verb, parti, my past participle, plus that S, because it has to be plural just like the subject. Here's a third one where it's both feminine and plural. So we've got elle plural, my helping verb sont, make it feminine, then make it plural. All right, some of these past participles are going to start looking a little strange, but you'll be okay. Remember the négatif, we're still going to follow the same rules like in the Passé Composé. The ne, with avoir, the ne pas goes around your helping verb, which is être. So if I went, is je suis allé. Remember, être is my helping verb is my conjugated verb. So, je ne suis pas allé. Or, for example, nous sommes sortis, nous ne sommes pas sortis. All right, so, oh, there's another one. Woo! Tu es venu, tu n'es pas venu. Alrighty, now we're ready. Essayez, c'est facile. All right, you guys can do this. Take it nice and slow. Make sure you have your two parts after your subject, your helping verb, and your past participle. And now our third part is to think about agreement. What I'd like you to do, écrivez au passé composé, so conjugate these verbs into the passé composé, and pick two of them. Once you've conjugated them, rewrite them in the passé composé in the negative. Bring that to class tomorrow, and we will jump in right away working with our passé composé. Au revoir, mes amis.